Hi everyone. Sorry, I was just setting up Instagram at the same time. So, hey everyone, hey YouTube. So, I'm streaming both on YouTube and Instagram. So, hello everybody, welcome. I hope you can all hear me okay. If you have any difficulties, just let me know. You can comment in the chat on YouTube, or you can also comment on Instagram, whichever one you want to, whatever works for you, okay? So, welcome everybody. Okay, so we'll be having both conversation on YouTube and Instagram, so I will be going back and forth between the two. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it in whichever chat you're watching on. Okay, so we are going to be talking about probiotics today. So this is one of my favorite topics, not toppings, not a pizza topping. We're talking about probiotics here. So it's one of my favorite topics because there are so many probiotics out there, so many different ones, and sometimes it can be difficult to know which one to choose or what we should choose, what we should go for. So I'm going to kind of break it down for you and help you pick the best probiotic for you based on what your symptoms are, or how we can kind of address those symptoms based on what we're talking about today. So if anybody has questions before we start, feel free to leave it in the chat. If there's anything you want to say, hi everyone on Instagram, hey, hey Tanvi, hey Andrew. Yeah, so that's what we'll be doing today. So has anybody tried probiotics? Have you tried any in the past, or certain ones that you've tried? I'll also be showing some pictures on, I can't show really on Instagram, I can't share my screen, but on YouTube I will be sharing my screen, but I'll kind of tell you guys. We're gonna like go through a couple different examples, so that way we can see which ones, what a good one is, and then what a not so good one is. So, okay, great. So let's get started. So the first thing I kind of want to talk about is the strains. So probiotics have strains, and those are those like really, really long names that you'll see on the back of the probiotic. So there's things like lactobacillus or bifidobacterium. Those are the common strains. So what you want to do when you're looking at it is to see how many strains are in the probiotic and the type of strain. So, because there's different types that are better for diarrhea, and there's different types that are better for constipation. So we'll be talking about that as well. Okay, so some people on YouTube are saying they have tried probiotic supplements. Okay, great. And then on IG we have kefir. Yeah, so kefir is a probiotic food, so that's good. Yeah, so if you tried probiotic supplements, which one did you end up trying? Was it a specific brand, or did you take a certain strain? Let me know, and then we can talk about that. So going back to the strains, so generally a good probiotic will have a good multi-strain. So this means it will have a variety of strains. So you want to have a variety of strains because that helps to improve the diversity of the probiotics in the gut and your good gut bacteria, right? So having a diversity of the probiotic, or a variety, is a good option to have. So generally you'll see them, like I said, listed on the ingredient list. I can actually grab mine. Give me a second and I'll show you. It's in the fridge. So I'll show on Instagram first. So as you can see, it's kind of blurry, but that is the strains. Those are the variety. I'll show you guys over there. So as you can see, there are a variety here. So we got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got 10 different ones there. Hi. Okay, so some of you have joined me on both platforms, so let me know what works better for you. But yeah, so we got 10 different strains in there. So that's going to give a good variety and diversity to your microbiome. So that's very important. Rather than ones that might just have 1 or 2 strains, they aren't giving you much variety, so that's not going to help improve your good gut bacteria as much as this one would. Okay, so we got some questions, so let's answer these. I've tried probiotics. What's with the funny smell? Interesting. So sometimes, like I generally the ones that I have haven't smelled, but it could be because of the bacteria. So they're actually live cultures, live bacteria. So it could be that. So kind of similar, I guess, if you would have yogurt and it would smell a little bit. If it is like really smelly, it could have gone bad. So check the expiry date and see maybe it went bad or maybe that was just a bad batch. It shouldn't be that smelly, but they could smell a little bit because of the, like I was saying, the live bacteria. Are the pills better than the yogurt? So generally, yes, but it depends. So if you just need like general health, keep up, if your gut health is good, if you don't have any immune issues, if your skin is great, then you could take probiotics through the food. But if you do have more severe gut issues, if you have things that you need to work on, then I would say getting it through the pill is better because you're having more strains, whereas the yogurt is just going to be very little. So yeah, that's a great question. Okay, it's a question on IG. What strains are better for constipation? Yes, so I was going to say that and I kind of got off topic answering a little bit. So let's talk about constipation. So the ones that are great for constipation are Bifidobacterium lactis and Bifidobacterium infantis. So that's B infantis and B lactis. And then, I should have addressed the phone, sorry. And then the ones that are helpful for S. boulardii, diarrhea, are S. boulardii and Lactobacillus rhamnosus. So those ones are good for diarrhea. So I'll repeat that just so we're clear again. So constipation is the Bifidobacterium lactis and Bifidobacterium infantis. And then the ones that are good for diarrhea are S. boulardii and Lactobacillus rhamnosus. So those ones, yeah. So yes, on Instagram there's a comment, mine start smelling bad if I've left them in the sun or outside in the fridge. Yes, so like I was saying, maybe yours were expired, maybe yours went bad. Generally they shouldn't smell, but they could have a little bit of a smell because they are live. So what is good for skin? Actually, I haven't looked specifically into skin. Generally a good multi-strain probiotic, but Dr. Tanvi, I know you're there. I don't know if you know if there's specific ones that are good for skin. Yeah, but generally a good multi-strain will be helpful for the skin too. Okay, so we talked about strains, so that's the one thing to look out for. And then the other thing is the colony forming units. So that will be listed as the CFU on it. So here you'll see it. It is a bit blurry, but I don't know why it's so blurry. It says CFU. You can see the billion CFU. I'll pull one up on Instagram. So generally the CFU is what is called the colony forming unit. So that's just basically how many probiotics are in the capsule. How many probiotics are you getting in a capsule? So you want to be looking at billion. Billions are better than millions, and you want something that's at least 10 billion. At least 10 billion is a good number, a good amount to get. 10 to 50 billion is a good option. If you need something that's a bit stronger, if you've had like antibiotic use, then you want to do something that's like a 50 billion. So yeah. Okay, so yes, Tambi says multi-strain is good. Lactobacillus species are helpful for skin. Great, thank you. Thanks. Okay, so can you show again the one that is good for constipation? So yes, I will. I didn't show it, but I'll tell you it. So that was, or I can write it in the YouTube chat. So that was Bifidobacterium lactis and infantis. So those are the two. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So we've gone through strains, we've gone through the colony forming units, which is the CFU. So those are the two main things. Every time I say CFU, I think I'm swearing. So those are the two main things you want to look at when you're buying it. So making sure that you have one that's specific to your symptoms if you need it, And then also making sure that it's a good variety and then the good colony forming units. If you were recently on if you're recently on antibiotics, taking S. boulardii is actually helpful for that as well. So that's the one that I mentioned, helpful for diarrhea, but it's also good for if you took antibiotics recently, or if you're on antibiotics, that's a good one to take. Okay. So let's talk about another thing. So the next thing to look at is you want to look at the quality of the probiotic. So this comes down to the brand, and there's many different. Oh, there's a comment. Instagram is ahead. Yeah, Instagram's ahead, I guess, because I'm streaming on YouTube. So there's so back to like the quality of the brand. So there's many different brands that create probiotics, and this is where I'm going to show you on YouTube, but maybe if you're watching on Instagram you can just like Google it yourself, or I'll show you this one as a comparison. But let's look up Align probiotic, and I'll show you the difference between like this one and then like the one that I was showing you. So Align is one of those really common ones that a lot of people will tell me that they're taking. Let me just show this one on, I'm going to show it on YouTube, but on Instagram, just go ahead and look it up. If you look at Align, we can see that, let me just show it on YouTube here. You can look at the ingredients and kind of tell me what you see or what you think based on those ingredients of Align. So, okay, sorry. Read more. So we're looking at the ingredients here. I'm just going to share this on YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to read out the ingredients. So we have ingredients are Bifidobacterium longum, a specific one, a specific strain, and then that's it. That's the only probiotic that's in it. Also has some magnesium, some propyl-gallate, some sodium citrate, dehydrate, sucrose, titanium dioxide, and it says it contains milk. So if you're looking at something like this as a common one, and maybe it is helpful for some people, but based on this, as you can see, it's just one strain. So we talked about how it's important to have a variety of strains. And this one's just only giving you one. And then it also, I don't know if it even, like, on this ingredients, it's not even telling me how many billions you're getting. If anybody knows, you can let me know, but this one's not telling me how many you're getting. So that's another thing. You're probably not getting too many of the colony forming units. And then the other thing you want to look out for is fillers. So an extra ingredient. So this one has some extra ingredients that I don't think we need, like the sucrose and some of the extra fillers that it's using. And it also says it contains milk, right? And then we don't know if you're a lot of people that have like IBS and gut issues, they are sensitive to milk and dairy. So that's just something to look out for when you're looking at different probiotics. So that's that one. Let me just jump back to the chat on YouTube and see if anybody had any questions about that. So has anybody used Align, and have you, did you find Align helpful if you used it? I'm going to take that one off. Okay. Yeah, so that's one thing to look out for. So then kind of going back to the brands, you want something that has a good quality and they have third-party testing. So third-party testing means that they have another company that does it for them rather than doing their own testing. So that makes sure that their standards are high. A lot of your typical drugstore ones, you're going to get them maybe cheaper, but going for something cheaper is not always the best option when you're getting a probiotic. So you really want to look for something that's a better quality, professional brand, you might have to pay a little bit more, but in the end, it is a better option and you're getting a better quality probiotic. Okay, so let me know, does anybody have any questions at all that we've talked about this so far for probiotics? So we talked about looking at the strains. We talked about looking at the CFU, which is making sure the billions. So you want it to have a good amount of that, at least 10 billion. We talked about looking at fillers, so making sure that there's no extra fillers, there's no dairy in them, there's no added things that can maybe irritate your gut even more. And then the other thing that we've kind of been talking about is just making sure that they don't go bad. So if you have the ones that need to go in the fridge, then making sure that you're keeping them in the fridge, looking at the expiry date. I've had questions before about like, are the refrigerated ones better than the non-refrigerated ones? And I've looked into this, and generally they're the same. I tend to like the refrigerated ones better. I don't know, I just find that those ones work better. But I think that from what I've seen, they tend to be the same. So that's a question I usually get often, is if it should be that refrigerated or not. All right. So a question from Instagram, why is it important to take even if you don't have gut issues? That's a great question. So even if you don't have gut issues, you can still take it for other reasons. But one thing I do say often is if your gut is okay and generally you are feeling okay and your health is pretty good, you don't really necessarily need to take it. And that is because you might be messing with your microbiome when you don't really need to take anything or for any reason. So if you're feeling good and everything is up, like good in your terms of digestion and overall health, you can just get probiotics through the food. So that would be things like, we've talked about this before, so that would be things like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, many different fermented foods and vegetables. That's a great way to get some probiotic foods in. Tempeh is another one as well. So I would say if everything's good with your health, then just get it through your food. However, if you don't have gut issues, but you might have some other issues, some things that it can be helpful for, we already mentioned skin health, because there's that connection with the skin and the gut and the microbiome. So your skin health, you can also take it for urinary health reasons. So urinary tract infections, helping out with that. Mood and mental health is a huge one, because we have a lot of our serotonin that's produced in our gut. So that's a huge thing to help improve mental health, is having some probiotics to help that as well. And then also your immune system. So we have a lot of immune cells in our gut, and a lot of times if we take antibiotics or other medications, that can damage our good gut bacteria. So taking probiotics can help improve your immune health. Yeah, that was a great question. If there's anything else that you've taken it for, or if you've heard about it for, let me know in case there's anything I'm missing. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of water and then answer those questions. I have some mint in my water today. I had extra mint and I just wanted to flavor it up. Okay. How often should you take a probiotic pills and for how long? That's a good question too. So you do want to take, if you are taking a probiotic, you'd want to take it every day. And generally you want to take it for the amount of time. It depends on from person to person, but I would say if you're working on like a gut protocol, you'd want to take it for a good 3 months and then see how things go and if you still need it or if you could take a break from it. Some people swear by taking it forever and they say they need it every day. So for certain IBS patients, sometimes they need to. But generally, if you're just kind of working on things, you could take it for a few months and then take a break from it. If you've taken antibiotics recently, or you're going to, you're going to be taking antibiotics, then you definitely want to take it then as well for at least a month. And then you said for how, I think I answered that, right? So for how often? Every day, if you're taking them, and then for a few months. Is it true it's not recommended to take them for an extended period of time? what would that be? Okay, so that's, yeah, kind of similar. So yeah, like I was saying, like I don't think you need to be, with anything, like I don't think you need to be taking it forever. And that's just my personal opinion. Maybe there's some people out there that have other opinions, but I generally think like if you've healed everything and you're doing well, you can take a break from it and get it through food. And that's what I would say. It's still important to get it from your food. And even just having a diversity in your food. So having a diet that's filled with many different fruits, vegetables, grains, meats, legumes, that's also important for your gut microbiome. So to answer your question, I would say I would agree. Like, I don't think you need to take them forever for a long period of time. But I would say like a few months, 6 months. And then if you're feeling better, then you can take a break from them. But yeah, good question. Okay. So does anybody else have any other questions about probiotics? I kind of showed the difference between like that specific one aligned, but if there's another probiotic that you want me to look up, just let me know and I can also share that. But it sounds like some of you have tried them, some of you haven't. You were more curious about which ones were for certain strains. So we talk, just like if anybody else recently joined, so we were talking about before, ones that were specific for diarrhea, ones that were specific for constipation. So just to recap, the ones that for diarrhea were Saccharomyces boulardii, so S. boulardii, and Lactobacillus rhamnosus, and then constipation was the Bifidobacterium infantis and Bifidobacterium lactis. So I'm looking at both Instagram and also YouTube. So just in case anybody's wondering why I'm looking back and forth. Yeah, so again, just to recap, making sure you're getting one that's a good multi-strain. So a variety of different strains. You want at least like 5 different strains in your probiotic. Looking for ones that have colony forming units. So the CFU of at least 10 billion, can be up to 50 billion. And then also looking for the good quality one. So don't cheap out on the probiotic. Make sure it's a good quality one. Is a probiotic actually the opposite of an antibiotic? Yeah, it kind of is. So an antibiotic is just something that will wipe out bacteria. So it kills bacteria. That's what it is. So an antibiotic actually will kill off not only the bad bacteria, but it will kill off the good bacteria in your gut too. So that's why it is pretty can be harmful sometimes for the gut health. Of course, they're necessary and we might need them, but it can cause the like killing off of your good gut bacteria. So that's the antibiotic, and the probiotic is the good bacterium. So yes, we can't like we have so many bugs in our microbiome, right? So we're not taking all of them through a probiotic. We're usually just taking a few different ones, like the main ones, like the lactobacillus and bifidobacterium are the main ones. But yes, those are then the opposite because they are good bugs and they help to populate your good microbiome. So the action that they do is like the opposite. Yeah, good question. Cool. Yeah, cool. Okay. Can I ask a question? Yes. So if you have a question about probiotics or the gut health, go ahead. You can ask it in the YouTube chat. Feel free to ask it. Yeah. The other thing that we can talk about is prebiotics. So prebiotics are helpful for they're like food for your probiotics. They are the food that help your probiotics like feed off of them and helps them grow and helps them like populate. So that's prebiotics. So you can get those through foods. That would be things like onions and leeks. What else? A lot of things that have inulin and like fiber in them. So even like apples, oats, asparagus is another good one. Jerusalem artichokes. I'm not sure if you have ever tried them, but those are not like your typical artichoke. They actually are also known as sunchokes. They're kind of like a root vegetable. They look like a ginger kind of. So those are some other good ones. So by having those in your diet, that helps to improve the probiotics in the microbiome. So prebiotics and probiotics are important. So my brother Leo Trim always told me probiotic bacteria can sometimes, but not in all cases, causes the rectum to expand when you see a 5-year-old. Is that true? I'm not too sure of that question. I'm not sure what the rectum is. Rectum. Oh, the rectum. It causes the rectum to expand when, I'm not sure what you mean by when you see a 5-year-old. I'm not too entirely sure about that. I know that just like the probiotic bacteria can help improve your microbiome, so they improves the intestines and the health of the intestines and the gut cells. So in that case, yes, I'm not sure if it would actually cause it to expand, and I'm not sure what you mean by a 5-year-old in that case. But yeah, it is overall helpful for your good gut bacteria, the health of your intestines. Like we were talking about, you don't need to take them all the time, but it is definitely an important part of the gut healing protocol. Anytime I work with patients to work on gut healing, like it's definitely a big part of the protocol is to have probiotics for sure. If anybody's like had like success with probiotics, or if you found that they're not helpful, feel free to share that as well. I find like personally, I take them from time to time when I'm noticing if my gut's acting up a little bit. Like maybe I'll take it for, like we were talking about, like a couple months at a time, take a break from it. But I find that it can be helpful sometimes. Yeah, for bloating, helping to improve bowel movements, it's good. Okay, so we'll just do this for like a couple more minutes, then I'll end it at 7:30. So if anybody has any other questions, even if it's not directly related to the probiotics, but for any other questions, feel free to ask in regards to health, of course, and then we'll wrap things up. And I will be back in 2 weeks. So we're doing the lives now every 2 weeks. So I'll be back in 2 weeks again to do this. If you have like topics that you want me to talk about, if there's anything you want me to talk about, just let me know. And I can also add those topics. Make sure if you're on YouTube to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and you want to see more content like it. Make sure to subscribe. We are almost at 100. We're at 90 as of today on YouTube. So if you know anybody else that likes YouTube lives or wants to learn more about health, send them my channel. I appreciate that. And then on Instagram, I will come back also to continue doing the lives on Instagram if people want it on here as well. All right. So I think that's it. Thanks everybody for joining, and I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something new about probiotics. Just kind of keeping in mind those few things that we talked about when you go and buy your next probiotic. All right, I will be signing off. I'm going to sign off on Instagram. I have to figure out how to do this. I think I just end it. So bye everybody. Have a great Friday and have a nice weekend. Okay, that's done. And let's go to YouTube. Matthew Smith Undercover. I cannot see your profile picture. It's really tiny, but it's me. Is that me? That's very creepy. Sorry. Maybe you should remove that. I'm going to be going now, so I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Okay? Bye for now.